Hello and welcome back to the third part of the Power BI training. In the first part, we covered up the Power BI preparing data using Power Query. Then the second part, we loaded the data after doing some transformations and loaded it to the desktop. Now what we'll do is in this video, we will cover up the next steps where we'll develop the data model, which involves creating relationships between tables and configuring tables and column properties to improve the usability of the data model. We will also create some hierarchies and quick measures. So let's get started. We'll open up the existing Power BI file, and this is the sales analysis file which we have done. We have done the transformations and then we have loaded the data into Power BI. So as soon as it will open up, we will be able to see our existing work which has been done. Now the file has loaded up now, so we'll just skip this and we'll just check and verify whether the data is there for each of the table. So if you can see what we have done for the product, region, as well as sales information, everything is there, and the transformations that we have done, we've already mentioned in there. So there you go. So now what we'll do is we will now create a relationship between product and sales. So if you can see in the product, if you can go to the data view and check the product table, it has the product key, category, subcategory, colors and stuff. And this product key is important because in the sales table, if you can see, there are product keys existing. So we will just create a relationship between the sales table and the table related to product. So we will create a relationship between the sales table and the product table using the product key. So first approach is that what we will do is we'll go to the data modeling view, the model view, and we'll see the sales table here. And then what we'll do is we'll go to the home tab and manage relationship. It opens up a dialog box. Just click on new, and after that it is open up the create relationship dialog box where we select the product and then select the appropriate key to match up. So we'll select this product key and then select the sales table. Notice that the product key in the sales table is highlighted automatically, and automatically the cardinality has been detected as well. So let me cancel this and I'll show you about the cardinality. It is one to many at this moment, but if we cancel this and if we create a new relationship between those table as well, and this time I will select the sales table with the product key selected and then the product table. So now you can see it says many to one. This means that there are many records in the sales table and then only single records exist in the product table. We just click on OK and then click on close. Now you can see between the sales table and the product table, there is a relationship exists now in order to be displayed there. So let's take this another approach. What we'll do is we'll just we'll take this reseller table, and from that reseller table drag this reseller key and put it here in the sales table. I'm just doing it one more time. There you go. Similar thing we'll do for sales territory. And another one for employee key. What we will do now is we will test this relationship, and we'll just on a visualization report tab, we'll see how it is working. So we'll check the category of the product, and based on that category, we'll fetch up total sales. So if I checkbox this, it will show up the total sales based on category, and we can try it another option of adding a subcategory as well. So what we'll do is we'll just drag it up, remove category, and it's showing sales as subcategories as well as category. So what we'll do now is we'll create a hierarchy and hiding some formatting and categorizing some columns. What we'll do is now is we will go to the data tab, and then we'll see the product table here, and it will show it is, and if you see all the fields here, so you can see that it has all the fields together. And if you right click the category column and go to and click on create hierarchy, so what it will do, it will create a category hierarchy. The original column will remain intact, but it will create a category hierarchy that only contains category. Now what we'll do is we'll switch to the modeling pane, and if you'll see, there are multiple properties here that is displayed when you select a particular table. So in this case, we've selected product table, and in that product table, we've created a hierarchy based on category. So now what we'll do is we'll use this property pane to add a subcategory to that category hierarchy. We'll click on category hierarchy, and then scroll down and select a column to add level. And if we select subcategory, it will have a level to be shown, like category as a first level and subcategory as a second level. We just click on apply level changes. And now if you expand this category hierarchy, it will show up category and subcategory. If you note that the category column as well as the subcategory column will remain intact, and it is just creating a hierarchy for better visibility and better usage. We will also add a third level, which are called products, and this product will be the third level in the category domain. We just click on apply level changes again, and we'll see the impact that the first level is category, the second one is subcategory, and the third one is product. If we want to shuffle it, we just need to click on the one and drag it above or below, and then click on the things, apply level changes. And if you see, as soon as it is done, the product moved up and the subcategory moved down. We'll just ignore these changes. One last thing what we'll do is we'll just rename these to products. So now what we'll have the product table. In that we've created a hierarchy where which is named as product, and it contains category, subcategory, and product fields. Now what we'll do is we'll just combine and create a folder, or you would say a categorize and organize the columns which are similar. So in this case, what we'll do is we'll just use the background color format and the font color format and rename them to appear in a folder format. So what we'll do is we'll just select both. You can hold Control key and select multiple columns. And if you see the property pane, there's a field called display folder. In that display folder, what we will do is we'll just type formatting, press enter. As soon as we do, it creates a formatting folder, and under that, both of the columns are stored, you would say. And remember to say the difference between folder creation and hierarchy is that hierarchy just create a reference column and add it into the hierarchy, but the original columns remains intact. While in the formatting, while you create a folder, then what will happen is that these columns are not displayed outside the folders. So now what we'll do is we'll configure the regions table, and in this one we will just group the country, group, and region to one hierarchy. So I'll start off with creating a hierarchy for group, and then adding country and region to this. And we'll click on this one, rename this to regions, and yeah. So now what we will do is we'll click on this country, original one, not the hierarchy one, because the hierarchy one just gives limited information. The original column gives more information. If you just scroll down to advanced, and if you see that there is one data category, and we will just categorize this to country/region. In this way, the Power Query or the Power BI visualization and everything will be able to understand automatically that this is a country, and if you use map visual, it will be displayed easily. Now we'll do reseller. So reseller, what we'll do is we'll just combine business type and reseller. So what we'll do is we'll just click on business type first, and then create hierarchy, which we'll name as resellers. And in that one, we will add this. So we will add this reseller to the business type as well. And yeah, there you go. We will create another hierarchy using country, state, province, city, and the reseller itself. So we start off with country, click on hierarchy, we'll create an hierarchy, and then add state, province, city, and reseller to the hierarchy. And we will rename this to geography. And now we'll rename, or we'll categorize the data. So for example, city, if we click on, and if we advance, if we'll select it as city. And then country, we'll select it as country region, and state, province, not this one, the original one, we will, yeah, so this is state yeah, so this is state or province. So this is done for the reseller table. Now what we'll do is we'll just configure the sales table, and in sales table, if you click on cost, and in the property table, if you scroll up, there's a description, and just type based on standard cost. This description can be applied to tables, columns, and hierarchies. And this description can be revealed in the tooltip as well. Now we'll select the quantity column. And if you scroll down, and there is a formatting section where it is said that whole number, and move this 1000 separator to yes. Now we'll click on unit price, and in the property we'll just use decimal places to 2. After this is done, what we will do is we'll just scroll down, and in the advanced section there's an option called summarize by, and by default it is selected as sum. We'll select it as average. So this means that by default the numerical columns generally summarize by summing the values. So with the unit price, we will have kind of a average unit price. We will not sum the unit price because the total sales might be can be summed up. But if you want to calculate a unit price for a particular category, for example, we will enable Power BI to make and categorize it as an average. It generally takes time because it is this operation is applied to the entire column. So if you have a larger data set, I would suggest not to use it because it will create it will take more resources, and your Power BI file will stop responding for a bit. So now what we'll do is we'll just bulk update some of the properties. We want to hide some things and we want to format some columns. So we'll come to the model tab, and now we will do is to select some columns. Make sure to have the properties pane enabled or visible. We will select to hide certain field values which are not being used or will not be used in the calculations or in the report itself. So first we will select multiple values by in the region. We will select sales territory key, and then in the reseller we'll hold down control and select reseller key. So make sure both are selected, and the next one we will select is also selected by holding the control key. So next one is the employee key in the sales table, product key in the sales table, as well as the reseller key. We'll also select sales order number and sales territory key. So make sure to hold down control key before selecting multiple columns. We'll do some things in the salesperson table as well, like employee ID, employee key, and UPN. UPN is the email address that is there. We will also select some of the persons in the salesperson region, and we will select the employee key and sales territory key. If you see here in the modeling tab, all selected columns are visible here, and all selected columns are highlighted in the sense. In the target table, we'll also select employee ID. Now in the property pane, we will see this property called is hidden, and we'll just click this to make it hidden. So now all of these columns are hidden, which will not be displayed in the visualization tab or the report tab. So these columns are hidden because they are either used by relationships or will be used in row level security configuration or calculation logic. Now we'll do some formatting, and we'll use that same multi-select approach. So in the product table, this is standard cost. In the sales table, we have the column cost. We make sure to hold down the control key and then select, and then sales. So this means that three columns are selected, and in the property pane, from inside, if you scroll down in the formatting tab table, we will use this decimal place and make it 0. Now if you select to the report view, and if you see, the columns, there are only limited columns that appears because the columns that we hide are not visible in the report view, which will make easier for us to utilize only those columns which we need to analyze the data. This table, salesperson region, it's hidden because all of the values in that, or all of the columns in that table is hidden, so it will not be visible in the report view. Remember, we added a description on the cost, and if you hover this cost, it is appearing, the description is appearing as we entered, like based on standard cost. So this description is appearing there. Some things are created by default in Power BI, especially with the date fields. So if you see order date, a by default hierarchy is being created, which has sliced the date field to year, quarter, month, and day. In the target months also deliver the same hierarchy by default. This has created a default hierarchy, but we don't need this hierarchy, so we can switch it off because we need only the date functions, so or the date field, and we don't need this hierarchy because we just want to keep the date function, and we'll manipulate that date function using DAX queries. And so in order to switch off this behavior, what we'll do is we'll just go to the options and settings in the file menu, and then select options. And just scroll down to the current file, and in that current file, click on data load, and just unselect this auto date and time in the time intelligence section, and click OK. So what this will do, this will just create a date. It will remove the automatic hierarchy of the date. So after doing this everything, now we'll create some quick measures. So quick measure gives an opportunity to create some predefined measures, which are, of course, in the back end it is DAX which is executed, but it is we have some options of quick measures to give as like the calculations and whatever we would like to. There are some by default calculations mentioned here, the filters and the time intelligence as well as the totals. So now we need to find out, what we need to do is we just need to find out the sales versus cost, which means that it's a profit loss calculation. So in profit loss calculation, we just go to the quick measure, select the type of calculation. If you scroll down, there are some mathematical operations that says, click on subtraction. It opens up a base value and the value to subtract. So we just select in the sales table, we drag the sales, which is sum of sales, and the cost, which is the sum of cost. If you just click on OK, this will create a measure called sales minus cost. And if you see the formula pane, it is a simple DAX query that is calculating sum of sales and sum minus sum of sales cost. We will just double click this and just rename it to profit. The other option to rename is to right click and then click on rename. If you notice that this this profit is actually from sales table, but this is stored under profit. under product table. We want to move this profit measure to the sales table. Sometimes it happens that if we create some measures, like if you just right click something and we click on quick measures and the appropriate table is not selected, or you forgot to select the appropriate table. So what you can do is you can just click on this measure, go to the measure tools in the menu, which is automatically selected. And if you see here home table, this is product. We will just move this home table to sales. Now what will happen is that this profit measure has been moved from the product table to sales table. So in the sales table, we'll create another measure, a quick measure, which is called. And now we'll select this calculation as division. And we will use the existing quick measure that we created. So we'll drag this profit to the numerator and sales, sum of sales, to the denominator. And we'll click on OK. This is profit divided by sales. We will just rename this to profit margin. We will ensure that the profit margin is a percentage. So when you click on this measure, in the measure tools, there's a format option. We will select this as percentage. Secondly, what we'll do is we'll just give the decimal places to 2. So we'll just click on 2 and press enter. So to test these two measures, what we will do is we will use the table again, use product category. Then from the sales table, we'll put up sales, we'll put up cost, we'll click profit, and then profit margin. So what it's showing is here is individual category sales minus the cost will give profit and the profit margin. You can make these values and font as bigger for a better display. So we'll make these fonts some bigger so that it is displayed properly. Now what we'll do is we'll generally switch to the modeling tab. And if you zoom in, and you see the fact table and the dimension tables being created here, and all the relationships here are one-to-many or many-to-one. Now we'll create a many-to-many relationship. Next, what we'll do is we'll create a many-to-many relationship between salesperson and region, because and sales as well, because if you see the sales made by each salesperson is linked. I mean, the sales is linked to the salesperson, but there is also a relationship between the salespeople and the region. So some of the salespeople can belong to multiple regions. So if you see here in the region table, we can link this to the sales as well as region as well. So first what we'll do is we'll create a table visual, and then from the salesperson table we'll just put in salesperson. This will give a long list of salesperson here, and then from the sales table we'll put in sales. If we sort this to the top one, and just see Michael sold almost 9 million. Keep an eye on this score. Keep an eye on this number. I'll probably make it more so this is in the bigger size. Now what we'll do is we'll switch to the model view. This is a tip for separating out the tables. This displays all table. You can create another relationship layout view, and then we can create another one with a cleaner layout. Everything else will remain the same, the relationships for all tables, but it gives you a better view of how we can separate out the individual table relationship. So we'll drag a region table, salesperson region, and salesperson. See, these table doesn't have any relationship. If I create another layout and if I bring sales and region, it automatically has existing relationships. So it is just bringing in that existing relationship. I'll go ahead and delete this. We'll focus on the second layout. Now what we need to do is we use the drag and drop technique from salesperson employee key to salesperson region employee key. And region has a sales territory key. We'll just drag this to the salesperson region as well. Now since this salesperson region only connects with both of the keys, we will consider this as a bridging table in between region and salesperson. After doing those relationships, we just double check whether anything has changed or not. It hasn't changed anything. So if you notice the arrow here, from salespersons to salesperson region, it filters the salesperson region by salesperson, but it's not the case in the region. So what we'll do is we'll just edit this relationship. We just double click on the line, and then under this cross filter direction, select both. So this will do is it will filter the tables in both directions. Make sure to apply security filter in both directions. Now what will happen is that it has changed this relationship as bi-direction. So this can filter this as well as this can filter this. So the values, if you want to filter salesperson region, we can also, due to that direction, we will also be able to filter by region. If we double check the report view, the values still remains the same. We'll now bring the sales table in the picture as well to see how it is propagating the details about it. So if you see here, sales territory key is connected to salesperson region as well as the sales table as well, while there is another pathway which is connected through the region, salesperson region and salesperson to the sales. So what it's doing is it is creating multiple pathways for the relationship. So we need to switch off one pathway so that PowerBI, the relationship, understands which pathway to follow. In this case, what we'll do is we'll just double click this salesperson and sales relationship and just uncheck this, make this relationship active. So what it will do is it will disable the relationship between salesperson and sales and only activate it through the region table. So if we want to filter by region and sales, we can take this pathway to display. Now let's go back to the report view and notice that everything has changed. So now what we'll go is we'll go to the modeling view, we'll click on the salesperson table, expand the property and then rename this to salesperson performance. And there you go. So this is done. So now what we'll do is we'll create a relationship between sales performance or salesperson performance as well as the targets. Before doing that, we'll move to the report view and we'll just create another table with salesperson, the sales as well as target. So notice that this target, the value of the target is constant, which is not changed, but we know that this is not the case. Each individual salesperson has his own target, so you need to look into this view. So we'll switch back to the model view. We'll just drag this employee ID with this target's employee ID, and we'll come back. After doing that, we'll come back to the report view and see this. Everything has changed, and each individual person has his own targets, and so this means that everything is ready to be analyzed in terms of sales, in terms of targets. So it is now possible to visualize sales and target. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.